So, because I'm a mad god, I feel like there's going to be clues. There might be clues to the universe and things around in chocolate. I love chocolate. I really eat, well, I love chocolate a lot. Um, maybe I prefer, I used to prefer polos when I was younger. Um, but I feel like with my teeth potentially breaking under strong mints, I think I actually do prefer chocolates more now because it's better for my teeth. But yeah, I think there's clues in it. I do actually have a box of celebrations. Now it's strange because I've put in Rose box. I'm working on page 10 of this magazine, and I can't guarantee everything in it is true. Some of it's just jokes, but I feel like there's hidden truth. Like the Bible, there's hidden truths within it. So I'm just going to write it how I want. I'm going to write it on the basis that maybe everything's wrong, maybe everything's right. I don't know. I'm just going to say things and there'll probably be truth in it. But I put rose box because technically I bought this last week and I actually thought I had a box of roses, and it's not. It's Quality Streets, and it's occurred to me that just like I didn't know a week ago, I did not know the difference between the Milky Way and a galaxy because um, I guess I would have said that the Milky Way was a galaxy, but I've never looked into it. I've never once it's never once dawned on me. Oh, I'm God, where are we in the universe? I mean, I do say that, but every time I see it, I just see like lots of galaxies around, and me just being like, where should I go? I don't know. And then now I've looked into the Milky Way. I'm just like, oh, but that's not how I would have remembered my version of, or that's not how I would see my version of the universe. I would see the universe as being somewhere where I can go anywhere within, and the idea of just being attached to this this one Milky Way, which I hate the name of, and it's just like I would feel trapped if I was only in this one location. But then I've looked at how big humans think that this MW is, and they think it's like humongous, and it's just like, well, why would I feel trapped in something that's humongous? And then it just reminded me of the chocolates. That's kind of how I always saw it, and also the Madonna's "It's a celebration" kept coming into my head, and it's just like, yeah, that's what a Milky Way is. It's a box, is a chocolate in the celebrations, and I know she's called it Celebration her tour, which is something I'm not happy about at all because I don't feel like we're celebrating anything. I feel like catastrophe is going to happen. There's way too many people here. They're destroying the planet. The planet is dying and just dismal. The planet is looking in a dismal state, and something bad needs to happen to change that. But so yeah, I was always confused as to why, but I don't know if it's got something. If her doing that tour is to try and emphasize the importance of this celebration box, well, that makes sense because I like chocolates and I like the celebration box, and I usually go for the celebration box. But this time I didn't because it occurred to me that there's quite a lot of chocolates that I don't actually like in it. I don't like plain chocolate. So that usually goes to my mum or dad. I mean, I can eat it, but I don't like it. Just the idea of eating plain chocolate, just it actually feels a bit gross to me. And then I think, why does that feel gross? And it's just like, well, because it reminds me of eating like a dead planet or like a rock that has nothing in it. If you ask me why I don't like the plain chocolate, it's because it's like, well, I'd say it's because it's got nothing in it, and that's could also be what I'd say about a planet that's got no souls in it. Well, it's got nothing in it. I don't want to go there. It's got nothing in it. And so I feel like there's a higher meaning behind why I would not like plain chocolate. I do like Lindor. You could argue that Lindor is plain chocolate, but it's not because that's high quality chocolate, and the inside is actually different to the outside. I don't know what they do to it, but they put some sort of magic or maybe oil or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It just tastes good. Whatever you're doing it right. But yeah, Lindor is different. Plus, you have all the different flavors, and I do the salted caramel is my favorite, but there's lots of ones. Dark one I don't actually like. I have a box of dark Lindor chocolates, and I bought 3 boxes because they were on a sale price in this chocolate shop. But I had given I gave one to my granny and one to my mum, and I'm taking ages to go through the second one because I don't know, I don't like dark chocolate very much. It just tastes a bit too tastes too much like cocoa, and I prefer the sort of I prefer the probably the ones that are less healthy. But anyway, I have a box of celebrations now, a few no Quality Streets, and I went with this one because I don't like in the celebrations. I don't like plain chocolate. The Mars bar I usually end up giving to my dad because I feel like it's a male's one. But then that kind of if that's supposed to be like Mars, It's true that humans are probably going to go there one day, and so maybe that's a sign. Me giving that to my dad is kind of a sign of what happens to humans. Humans are going to inherit that if they can get Earth to last that long. If they don't destroy Earth in the time it takes for Mars to form, which be a very long time. But anyway, it's not long in the God world, because I feel like when I die, I'm just going to be Lily, and I think my human self might just fall asleep, but my higher self, I don't know what she might have already done something. I can't say, but I know that time is different when you're a God, because um, I remember feeling like I can fly through the universe, and it would feel like a couple of minutes to me, but to the world itself, to the planets itself, it would be a huge amount of time. And so, what would seem like living for billions of years wouldn't feel like living billions of years if you're actually in that higher status of mind. Because time changes when you're in that higher status, and what feels like a few minutes to you might feel like hundreds or millions of years down below. And the larger you get, the more ability you have to be able to to see the future, to be able to control time. And I feel like in the same way England went to um, America. Okay, you could argue that there was other people that might have done it, and I've heard those stories that Columbus wasn't the first; he was just the most remembered, and that other tribes from other places had actually been there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same with the the MW. That maybe gods from around, like maybe they're my kids' or kids' or whatever. Maybe they have attempted to make timelines here, but they haven't. I don't think they've been very good, because if they were very good, this planet wouldn't have been empty for 160 million years. So obviously they weren't very good at doing what their job was. I have the dream where I remember seeing the comet that killed the dinosaurs. In that dream, two shadow figures came up to me and said that we've got this planet that no one can fix. So I feel like that is an example of whatever was here, it wasn't able to create a timeline on this one, because they probably didn't have that larger sense of knowledge. You could say that England, when they went to America, it wasn't that they were better; it's that they had better technology, they had better guns, they had better weapons, they had things that they could use to control the country. And likewise, you could say this the same with me. I've had probably so much more experience, hence all the songs that you have, or all the information that you have. I probably have built up in the spirit realm. I've built up a massive memory, hence can know these things and can pass them down to this planet, and people on this planet, and maybe if they're going to go off and um, do things better than what is being done, or whether gods are failing here or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think about things in a realistic sense, so I can relate to this timeline, and see if there's a bigger picture, my higher self would have a better idea of things, and I don't, because I don't remember anything, but I'm trying to see what has been done on Earth, and think that maybe my higher self has done this to help me and to help you as well understand the bigger scale, the bigger picture of things. And that MW looks very close when looking at the picture. And if a galaxy, or a super galaxy, I'd rather call it, if a super galaxy has um, you know millions of galaxies within, or millions of potential places like Earth and the sun and stuff, I can't do all of that, but you conquer it by having one or two timelines within, creating children, getting them to conquer the area. And it's, if you live for a very, very long time, you will see everything in a different scale. But anyway, going back to this box, I thought I had roses. I thought I'd bought a box of roses, and I've been eating it for the last week, and I haven't. But I'll tell you the favorites. So favorite, okay, there's this one. It's the caramel with the nut inside. I guess that's kind of like the Snicker bar. Nuts, caramel, peanuts, caramel, and chocolate is my favorite. The second one, I guess, is just the caramel with the chocolate. Although I guess that's more like the galaxy, but I don't know. The galaxy one I do like it, but anyway, and then I like things that are a bit more, got a bit more flavor. Caramel and chocolate I do really like, but I find the coconut, I prefer Bounty because it has more of a unique taste to it. The coconut provide, and it's also healthy as well. I find that the coconut makes it feel more healthy. If it's actually more healthy, I don't know, because I'm sure it's got loads of other condensed milk in it or something. But yeah, anyway, in this selection, in this Quality Street celebration, those two. Then this one. Now this one's also an interesting one because I haven't had a box of these for a very long time, and usually when I would go for them, because it says strawberry in it, my sister absolutely loves strawberries. If I was to give her any in the box, I would actually give her this one. But it's now that I've actually got around to tasting it, because usually when I have this box, she's always around. I always give it to her, which okay hasn't been for a very long time. I haven't got this box for a very long time, so I was kind of making a change because I usually go for the celebrations. But yeah, I do actually really like that flavor, and the orange one. They're kind of similar, but I always loved the orange one. But now that I've tasted that one, I'm just like, actually, that one's just as good. And this one I think is harder. So that's the next one afterwards. The coconut one I do like, but I find the coconut in this just a little bit too hard. It's not as soft as the Bounty bars, and I prefer the softer Bounty bars. But it's still the next up. And then there's this one which I think is like a crunchy. I've actually forgotten what it is. Crunchy orange, yeah. That's just next in order. This one again, I like it, but I find it a bit too hard. And then these three are last. I'm not really a fan on that on its own. I think it's too hard and chewy. And this one, I think that's just plain chocolate, and that one is crunchy chocolate, I think. But those are my worst three. But I went for this box because I haven't had. I wanted something different, and I hadn't had this for a long time. And I'm a really massive fan on those first 5 or 6. So, but yes, that is just something I wanted to say. And yeah, it's making me really wonder though, what's the difference between Quality Streets and Roses? Like roses, I thought, are they the same? Are they the same? Just as there's less option in the roses, because there's quite a big selection of stuff here. But anyway,